Hello, in this video we will discuss about the kingdom protista or kingdom protectista. So let's begin to understand what is that and what is the kingdom of the protista and what is this. We will discuss in this video the whole chapter and with detail. So the five kingdom classification system is introduced and it's contain ammonia, protista, and protista is further going on fungi, plantae, and animals. So let's begin to understand. The monera is the basically bacteria containing which that is anucleated cell prokaryotes, which that is basically without nucleus, for example bacteria. While on the other hand the protista is the autotrophs or heterotrophs, basically autotrophs and heterotrophs. We will discuss all about that. So first of all we should understand about the fungi. So the decomposer are heterotrophs. On the other hand the plantae is the fungi is also multicellular, but protista is the unicellular but eukaryotes, it means the true nucleus. On the other hand the plantae is the autotrophs and photosynthetic pigment are present and multicellular eukaryotes. On the other hand, the animal is the heterotrophs, herbivorous, carnivorous, and omnivorous, as well as the eukaryote and multicellular. So let's begin to understand the definition of protistas. A vast variety of aquatic eukaryotes which has different structure, body forms, reproductive system, types of nutrition and lifestyles, and evolved from prokaryotes are known as the protista. So protista is evolved from the prokaryotes. Prokaryotes mean the bacteria, which and that is without nucleus, but the circular DNA are present. On the other hand, the organization of the protista, we will discuss the complex single cell. So the complex mean nucleus is present, eukaryotes but unicellular, and sometimes chains or colonies are present. And type of nutrition is used for absorption, photosynthesis, or ingest food. So it is autotrophs and heterotrophs also. So let's begin to understand the representative organism. So the protozoans, algae, water molds, unicellular, multicellular, algae, slime molds, and oomycetes, which that is all is the example of the organism about that. So the protozoan mean the which that is the unicellular, algae is in the form of filament, water molds in the form of basically fungus like protist. So let's begin to understand the protozoa. So the protozoa is an animal like protist. That is why it is known as a protozoa. Proto mean before, zoa mean the animal. So it is animal like protist. So let's begin to understand first animal like protist, and next we will discuss about the plant like protist. So the animal like protist we will discuss here is the contains zooflagellates. It means the zoo mean the movement, animal containing flagellates. It is unicellular and flagellated. Or on the other hand the amoeboid cells, amoebas, which that is used by the cytoplasmic streaming to movement. On the other hand zooflagellates used for the flagella. Actinopods is used for the actinopods. Actinopods mean the filament of the pod will be arise from the calcium carbonate shell on projection of the cytoplasmic projection. So the foraminifera is the forams which contain a projection of the cytoplasmic projection looking like this. And epicomplexan is the plasmodium, which that is a parasite. And ciliata is the paramecium, which that contain a cilia for the movement. So let's begin to understand the general structure first. So the general structure of the protista is basically is contain a flagella or flagella as well as cilia, and it is free living in the water. It means the aquatic environment is more preferable for the kingdom protista. So here is the nucleus, which that is the true nucleus. That is why it is known as the eukaryotes. But on the other hand, if we will talk about the autotrophs, it means it contain a chloroplast. This chloroplast contain a chlorophyll, and chloroplast is in the form of different types. So next we will discuss about during the plant like protist, but here I am not understanding you to understand the plant like protist which contain a chloroplast different type. So here is the cytoplasm, and here is the mitochondria, which that is used for the energy to produce ATP, and aerobic respiration is occur, and glycolysis also. And the shape of the eukaryotes, here is a filamentous or single or colonial form. On the other hand, let's begin to understand about the nutrition, and if we will talk about the autotrophic lifestyle, and it is contain a storage vesicle, which that is food storage part. So here is the when light fall on the chloroplast of the eukaryote protist, so the autotrophic protista is that is produce glucose by the using of carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. So remember about that. This protista is produce 90% oxygen as compared to the plant. So on the other hand, it is in the form of algae, we can say that. And protista are of human, basically parasite of human. So the trypanosoma gambians is used for the trypanosoma, which that is sleeping sickness disease. On the other hand, here is the symbiosis also occur, and sessile. Symbiosis, for example, trichonympha acts as a symbiosis in the gut of termites. So it is also known as the living organism, dead organic in. So it is also known as a decomposer. So here we will discuss about the ciliates. For example, it is heterotrophs, and ciliates is the best example is a paramecium. So this paramecium is contain a shoe-like structure which is surrounded. The cilia is surrounded in the paramecium, and it is used for the movement. And on the other hand, the smaller and macronucleus and micronucleus is present, while on the other hand used for the food intake, living organism endocytosis. So the endocytosis is used for it, and food vacuole will be formed. On the other hand, cilia are present, and contractile vacuole anterior and posterior is also present. So the mouth surrounded by the cilia, so the cytostome are present, which that is used for the eating also, and basically lining with cilia is present in the mouth, behind the mouth. On the other hand, we will discuss just a paramecium is cilia containing heterotrophs without chloroplast and depend to the micro animals for food. Ciliates is contain a example paramecium, so it is used for the food. So the smaller particle-like structure of the animal, for example, is the food for ciliates. On the other hand, foraminiferans are forams, which that is the another type of the kingdom protista is the plant-like protozoa. So that is protozoa mean the animal-like protist, while on the other hand the plant-like protist we will discuss in the next. So here is the actinopores, which that is an example of foraminiferas as well as the forams. These are the basically contain actinopores. So the projection will be occur, and here is the pores. So this projection is occur, and actinopores is basically shells produces in a marine. So here is the nucleus, which that is present in the middle, and silica shell is present. On the other hand, the predation point is for the projection of the cytoplasmic projection to trap that organism, for example. On the other hand, here is the basically forms, which that is deposit the calcium carbonate is in the form of chalk or limestone. So the calcium shell is secreted by this, and here is the nucleus. So next here we will discuss about the parasitic mode of nutrition containing a epicomplexin. So this epicomplexin is a parasitic group of kingdom protista, which that is basically plasmodium is the example, and no locomotor structure are discovered in this class or in this class. So the life cycle of plasmodium is a malaria. Malaria caused in the due to the plasmodium in the human. So let's begin to understand with the whole detail to understand the epicomplexan. So the spore production is salient feature of these plasmodium falciparum. So let's begin to understand. So first of all, you should know about that the kingdom protista is contained about the protozoa, and this protozoa is basically animal-like protist. So here is the person which that is contain a liver. So when female Anopheles a vector as used as a vector mosquito in inject merozoites, diploid spores is known as the merozoite, which that is inject into the blood during the feeding and biting of the mosquito. So female mosquito will be bite and their saliva contain merozoites. This merozoite will move into the circulatory system and ultimately go into the liver and to become a vesicle, and the stage of liver contain basically to produce a sporozoites. So the basically sorry, liver contains merozoites, which that is basically go into the blood and to produce a gametogenesis and to produce a gametocytes and breakdown of red blood cell. It means the breakdown of red blood cell will produce the pyrogen, and this during the pyrogen is produced and becoming the temperature is high, and high fever is occur due to the breakdown of the red blood cell is known as a pyrexia. So on the other hand, here is the haploid gametocyte will combine together to become a zygote, but zygote will be inside of the mosquito. So again mosquito will be bite. So the salivary glands contain basically gametocytes. These gametocytes go inside to become a egg and sperm mature. So after this maturation of the sperm and egg, the oocyst will be formed and zygote. So the oocyst will be converted into the zygote by the sporozoid that is formed a sporozoid. So this sporozoid is basically are present in the gut of the mosquito female Anopheles. So this again will be bite. So the cycle will begin continuously. So the sporozoid form in mosquito and cycle run again. So I hope you make sense about the kingdom protista or protozoa, which that is the initial animal like protist. So let's begin to understand the plant like protists. So the plant like protist is basically first of all I want to give the mention the concept about why this is called plant like protist, because it is contain a chloroplast. So here is the plant which that is basically use the light, UV light and carbon dioxide absorption to give in the presence of chlorophyll to produce sugar, and that is known as autotrophs, and in the base byproduct during the photosynthesis to produce oxygen. So the oxygen is the byproduct of photosynthesis. On the other hand, here is I am drawing the cell which contain a nucleus as well as a vacuole and mitochondria. So the chloroplast organelle, double membrane organelle, use the light and carbon dioxide as well as water from the soil and carbon dioxide from the air to atmosphere to sugar, protein and fatty acids synthesis by the photosynthesis, and Calvin cycle will be formed and triose sugar will be formed, and ultimately the sugar synthesis and protein etc. by the attachment of nitrogen. So let's begin to understand the algae. So that is plant like protist. Why this is plant like protist? Because it is eukaryotes but unicellular, and it is in the form of filamentous or unicellular. So that there are different types. So let's begin to understand the eukaryotic, unicellular, colonial and filamentous aquatic plants in which unicellular sex organs found are called algae. The study of algae is called phycology. So the distribution we will discuss, that is according to the distribution. According to the distribution, it is present in the freshwater, marine, moist places, and and other watery area. So the shape and structure, if we will talk about that, is basically unicellular. For example, unicellular chlamydomonas or something. On the other hand, the spirogyra or spirogyra, which that is in the form of filamentous or thread-like structure, and it is unbranched filamentous. So that is why. On the other hand, the branched is the stegio colonium or sheath-like alva, which that is the best example of the branch, filamentous branch. So the pigment, if we will talk about here, we will discuss about the pigment which that is contained a plant like protist is the basically chlorophyll A found in all but the chlorophyll B, C, D in different algae. So that is the plant like protist. Why? Because it is present in the water. So the carotene, fucoxanthin, phycoerythrin, and phycocyanin and xanthophyll are common. Why? Carotene is basically red color show or orange color, and fucoxanthin is another color, phycoerythrin is a total red color, and phycocyanin is the basically blue color, and xanthophylls are common. So the chloroplast, if we will talk about the structure of the chloroplast in the different plant like protist, is the ribbon like, disc like structure, cup like, rod like, and oval. So remember about that. Ribbon like structure are present in the spirogyra, and disc like structure are present in the different alva, for example, and cup like structure are present in the chlamydomonas. On the other hand, rod like structure are present in the another ulothrix or something. So the oval is the different. On the other hand, here we will discuss about the locomotion is the flagellated, biflagellates, quadriflagellates, or some sessile, and reproduction is the isogametes or anisogamous or oogamous. Isogamous means that both male and female male and female reproductive cell is the similar, while anisogamous is the dissimilar, and oogamous is basically sperm and oocytes to become a zygote, 2n, haploid to diploid. So the common name is that basically here we will discuss about the asexual reproduction. First of all, so spores and fragmentation is common, and common name basically green algae, red algae, brown algae, blue, green algae, diatoms, are dinoflagellates, are euglenoids, common name. So let's begin to understand about the phyla of the plant like protists. So the phyla of the plant like protists we will discuss here. So first of all, we will discuss here is the lining which that show the phylum and common shape as well as pigment. So let's begin to understand and differentiate with the example of the different phylum. So the euglenophyta is the unicellular, and euglenoids or euglena is basically best example for it. And chlorophyll A and B and carotenes are present. On the other hand, the pyrophyta is a unicellular. Two flagella are present. So the dinoflagellates is the best example. And nucleus is present, and epitheca and hypotheca is the band-like structure which that is covered this structure. And plasties are present. Plasties means the chlorophyll containing pigment, organelle. On the other hand, the chlorophyll A, C, and carotenes and fucoxanthin is the best pigment for the photosynthesis. So that means they can absorb different type of light as compared to the plant. So the basically that is the major significance. And chrysophyta are unicellular, usually basically chrysophyta, and diatoms is the best example, best name. So the diatoms contain a calcium carbonate basically. And on the other hand, the chlorophyll A, carotene, and fucoxanthin are present. On the other hand, here is the phaeophyta, is the basically brown algae, and multicellular, two flagella on reproductive reproductive cells. So basically the brown algae is the kelp-like, and ectocarpus and laminaria is the best example. On the other hand, the chlorophyll A, C, carotene and fucoxanthin are present, which chlorophyll A, C, protein, fucoxanthin is the best pigment for it. On the other hand, the rhodophyta is the word rhodo means the red, so the red algae is the multicellular and a moist and marine algae. So that is the polysiphonia is the best example for it. But the chlorophyll A, carotenes and phycoerythrin are present. So phycoerythrin mean erythema mean the red color. So that means the phycoerythrin mean it show the red color. So it means the basically phycoerythrin are present, which that is repel the red color, red light. So the chlorophyta is the basically green alga, and unicellular or colonial, multicellular, and remain most have a multicellular and most have a flagella. So the chlorophyll A, B and carotene are present. So next here we will discuss about the useful aspects. So the useful aspect is the human food, which that means the vitamin A, vitamin C or different extract can be occur in the biotechnological revolution to health of the human being. And cattle food is also used and produced in ecosystem and a role in oxygen production. So what that means the role of oxygen production, because the 90% is oxygen is produced from this algae, and the antiseptic is also used source of algin, agar and carrageenan. Experimental also used. So that means the agar is the basically used for the bacterial culturing. So the harmful aspect is the basically pollutants and closing of pipes due to the water or due to the presence in the water. So the closing of the pipe is the major harmful aspects, and water blooms and Red Sea. On the other hand, here is the fungus like protist we will discuss also. So the plant like protist was that, but fungus like protist is basically those organisms which are not photosynthetic and have thread-like hyphae but possess centrioles and centriole and cell wall. So the basically is the basic cell wall of cellulose are called fungus-like protist. So that means the basically the chitin containing cell wall or something which that is basically look like a fungus like protist. Why? Here we will discuss just that is the last topic and we will cover the whole kingdom protista. So the fungus like protist is here, which that is contain myxomycota and oomycota. So the myxomycota is contain a slime molds is the best example and having hyphae a thread like structure. But on the other hand, the oomycota is basically water molds, which both are the heterotrophic. So the both are the heterotrophic. On the other hand, they basically is the oomycetes, if we will talk about having hyphae and aseptate group of hyphae called mycelium, and pathogen it is, and no chitin but cellulose. No chitin in their cell wall but cellulose are present, and Phytophthora infestant is the best example for the oomycota. While on the other hand, the myxomycota contain slime molds or plasmodium slime. So the plasmodial slime. So these slime molds is basically plasmodial slime contain a life cycle, which that is basically their life cycle is different. We will discuss in the water and moist surface. So let's begin to understand the last topic about the slime molds. So the slime molds contain a diploid structure is the amoeboid like cells, but it is very larger 30 centimeter to 1 feet diameter. So it contain a multinucleated cell like structure but multinucleated, and it is used the food bacteria, yeast or other spores, but it is used as a food. On the other hand, dark surface area is favorable for it. So that means organic matter is also consumed as a food, so it is also known as the heterotrophs, and it is basically vegetative phase contain a multi-nucleus and feeding stage, while it is reproductive phase to become a sporangium or sporangia, and this sporangia produce the haploid swarm cell. This haploid swarm cell contain a flagellated haploid cell. This haploid cell can be swim in the water and to become a fuse to form a zygote. This zygote is the diploid and again to produce spores, and this spore will be ultimately mature in the form of multinucleated again slime molds. So I hope you make sense about that video. So bye.